Okay, welcome everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo, and we're covering the WNBA semifinal game 5 between the Aces and the Fever. So, this was an exciting game, went to overtime. I mean, you can't have any game that goes to overtime in a, do or die game for either team. Boy, you can't wish for better than that as a fan. So, just terrific game. Back and forth. Unfortunately, Kelsey Mitchell went down, and it was interesting. She went down in the third quarter, and it was interesting because you could see her starting to grimace a little, like 2 plays before that, before she actually collapsed, basically. And as it turns out, she just her her legs kind of gave out on her, and I forget what they called it, the thing, but just pure exhaustion. Just exhaustion, and her legs just wouldn't go anymore. So that's what you call leaving it all on the floor. But too bad for Indiana, because they could have used her down the stretch. They, as far as like Indiana, just not without looking at the stats, they just missed too many shots. But they were still right in it. I mean, they made it go to overtime. But if they had made a higher, I'm guessing the Aces shot better. I'm going to look at the stats here in just a second. But just eyeballing the game, it seemed like the Aces shot better. And then in overtime, they hit like 3 threes. Gray and Jewel Lloyd were hitting threes. And that was the difference. I mean, Indiana, they did not go away. And if you watch Becky's post game, she was just like, they just did not go away. And they kept fighting to the last, I mean, with 9 seconds left in a, what was it, 105 to 98. So what is that, 7-point lead with 9 seconds left. They were still fouling to try and get the ball back. So, no quitting, which is terrific. It's terrific. And Shea Petty hit that three that brought him within 2 at one point there during overtime. It was two. It was a one possession, so I think it was 3 points. But just terrific. Her and Odyssey Sims kind of took over, and then Boston fouled out right in the fourth quarter there. So it was kind of like, they're gonna have some problems with they've lost Mitchell, now they've lost Boston. And they've got to play overtime without them. But they hung in there. They hung in there. But you got to hand it to, the Aces. And, both Jackie Young and Asia Wilson scoring over 30 points. Or Jackie Young scored 30. But usually with the Aces, it's a matter of if the other players are going to. Not Jackie and Asia Wilson are going to do their thing. But it's a matter of how much Gray and Lloyd and Dana Evans or whomever. Sometimes it's Nalissa Smith. It has been Aaliyah Nye, although Aaliyah Nye didn't play at all, as I remember. In this game, I didn't see her come in. So we'll have a look at the stats, and I'm pretty much guessing that the Aces shot better than Indiana. So we'll have a look at that. So pulling up the charts, the stats here. Okay. Well, you know what? It was pretty even. The shooting percentage was within like a percentage point. So Indiana actually did outshoot them. It seemed like they were missing shots. Maybe it was just for a certain period of time that was hurting them. So... But the big thing looking at the stats here is, so the thing that jumps out at you is the turnovers. Indiana had 21 turnovers to the Aces 8, and then points off turnovers. The Aces got 33 points off those turnovers, and the Fever only got 7 off the 8. That's huge. That's huge. I thought the shooting percentage was going to be different, but Indiana actually, they must have had, what I was when I was noticing that, it was probably just for a specific, in like a quarter or two, and they must have made up for it in other quarters. So points in the paint, Indiana 46-38 over Vegas. But boy, that turnover thing that's a big difference. Big difference. So Asia Wilson was your leading scorer. Odyssey Sims had 27 for the Fever, and she played really well. She was keeping Indiana in it when Mitchell went down, and then Boston fouled out, and she was having a really. She shot 50% from the floor, so that was terrific. Just a great game for Odyssey Sims. Great game. So let's see here. We'll go to Indiana first. They had 6 players in double figures. You had Shea Petty had 13. She was 5 for 9. Odyssey Sims 27 points. She had 6 assists, 2 rebounds. She was 7 for 14 overall and 12 for 13 at the foul line, because she was driving to the hoop a lot and got fouled and went to the line. Kelsey Mitchell, she played 23 minutes. She was 4 for 8. So that's what made the shooting percentage higher than I was thinking, because those two shot really well. And Shea Petty was 55%. Yeah, looking at this here. So Kelsey Mitchell, 15 points in the 23 minutes that she played. She was 3 for 3 from 3 and 4 for 8 for overall. And then you had Aaliyah Boston. She only had 11 points. That's surprising. Okay. Well, she had 16 rebounds, and she fouled out of the game. She was 5 for 12, which is 41%. That was part of the thing. Her and Lexi Hull were... That's what I noticed. Her and Lexi Hull were missing quite a few shots. If they had just shot just a little bit better, this might have been a different result. I mean, you never know how the Aces would have reacted if that had happened, but they just didn't shoot that well. I mean, it's still 41%. They both actually had the same exact stat, 5 for 12, both Boston and Lexi Hull. Lexi couldn't get one to drop. She was 0 for 5 from 3. Just too bad. Natasha Howard, she was a little bit better. She was 7 for 16, which is 43.8%. She had 16 points and 7 rebounds. She had 5 assists. The thing I noticed after Boston went out of the game is they were feeding Howard inside, and instead of trying to take it up strong and, trying to force a foul or something, she was passing it back out. That was something I noticed in the overtime. But she's not necessarily used to being, having to go in and play the post. So, but it probably would have been better for her to just go up strong and, take one dribble and go to the hoop instead of just passing it back out. But, hindsight. Lexi held 12 points, 7 rebounds. She had 3 assists. But just too many turnovers as a team. You had Ariel Powers. She scored 2 points. And then Brianna Turner had 2 points. Timpson was in for 2 minutes. She didn't score. And that rounds out everything for Indiana. And then you had, the Wilson and Young. Jackie Young, she actually did score over 30 points. She had 32. She had the last 2 foul shots, I think, which is why I didn't notice that at first. I thought she had just 30. But they shot, Chelsea Gray shot 7 for 12, 58%. Jackie Young was 10 for 20, which was 50%. Asia Wilson was 48%. She was 13 for 27. 27 shots. That's just obscene. Someone shooting that much. But that's the way the Aces play. They just feed Asia Wilson all the time. I'm surprised anybody else gets a shot off. Usually it's I don't know. It's an obnoxious amount of shooting. So, but it's working for them. They're in the finals, I guess. So, She had 35 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. She was 8 for 10 from the foul line. She hit a 3. Nalissa Smith, she was 2 for 5, had 5 points. She had a steal, a turnover, and a rebound. Kirsten Bell played 6 minutes, but she didn't have any stats. Jackie Young, 32 points. Like I said, she had 10 assists, 4 rebounds. She had 5 fouls. Chelsea Gray, 17 points. So it was just the 3 of them with double figures. Chelsea Gray did enough to get him over the edge. And then Jewel Lloyd, 8 points. And I'm pretty sure that came in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. I think she hit 2 threes in overtime, which, helped give them the win. 1 assist, 6 rebounds. She was 2 for 4 from 3. And then 2 for 2 at the line. She was 2 for 7 overall. Dana Evans was also 2 for 7. She was 1 for 4 from 3. She had 5 points. Megan Gustafson had 5 points. She hit a 3 and a regular basket. Let's see. Kia Stokes went in for 13 seconds. And that pretty much rounds everything out for the Aces. So the Aces get the win 107-98. And they will be facing Phoenix. And I think I'm going to do a preview of the finals in my next video. This is going to be an interesting matchup, and I'm not quite sure what's going to prevail. Off the top of my head, I think Phoenix is going to win. But sometimes matchups are funky, and the Aces have been there before. Players on the Mercury have been there before. Kalia Copper has won a championship. But Jackie Young, Asia Wilson, and Chelsea Gray have won 2 championships. And Becky Hammond has also won championships. Nate Tibbetts has not. But Phoenix, you have Duana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. They were on Connecticut, and they were perennial. But they didn't necessarily make it to the championship game all the time. They were right there, and they were just on the cusp. So we'll see if, they can get over the hump this time. It ought to be a good game. I mean, a good series. So congratulations to both these teams on a wonderful season. The Aces have one more series to go, and the Fever, despite with everything they had to endure, they did fantastic. And the people that came in, hats off to them. They were, came off the street. Like Aerial Powers, Shea Petty, and Odyssey Sims, they were on their couches and came in and played great. Played great for them. So, anyway, hope for a really competitive championship 7-game series. So we'll see you next time.